They say everything is bigger here. But until you stand beneath this endless canopy of blue, until you see the horizon stretch out so far that it seems to curve with the earth, you cannot truly grasp what big really means. Welcome to Texas. This is not just a state, it is a state of mind. A land that was once its own sovereign nation and in many ways still feels like one. It's a place of startling contradictions. We tend to picture cowboys and cacti, but Texas is a tapestry woven from humid bayous, pine forests, futuristic skylines, and island paradises. We are about to embark on a journey across this vast territory. From the ancient, silent canyons of the Panhandle to the glittering waters of the Gulf Coast, we will walk the battlegrounds of history and look up at the darkest skies in America. Consider this. Texas is so vast that El Paso is closer to the Pacific Ocean than it is to the eastern border of its own state. It is a world unto itself. Oh, roll down the window, feel the heat. The journey begins now. We begin our journey at the edge of the world, or at least, it feels that way. Big Bend National Park. Getting here is a commitment. It is miles from the nearest airport, hours from the nearest city. But the moment the Chisos Mountains rise out of the Chihuahuan desert floor like a fortress of stone, you understand why you came. This is the true, unvarnished Wild West. The landscape here is aggressive in its beauty. It is a place of sharp thorns, jagged rocks, and sun-bleached bone. But then, you turn a corner, and the Rio Grande cuts a ribbon of green life through the dust, carving canyons so deep, the sun only reaches the bottom at high noon. I remember hiking the Lost Mine Trail. Silence up there is absolute. It's heavy. You can hear the blood rushing in your ears. But the real show starts when the sun goes down. Big Bend is a gold-tier international dark sky park. When night falls, the darkness is complete. Lying on the hood of a car, looking up, the stars don't just twinkle, they burn. You can see the dust lanes of the Milky Way with your naked eye. In this vast emptiness, you are reminded that we are just tiny passengers on a very beautiful planet. Travel north now. Across the high plains of the Panhandle, the land here is flat, endless, hypnotic. You could drive for hours and see nothing but the horizon line. And then, without warning, the earth simply vanishes beneath your feet. Palo Duro Canyon State Park. They call it the Grand Canyon of Texas, and while it might be the second largest in the country, it feels second to none in sheer surprise. 1 minute, you are on the prairie. The next, you are staring down into a geological rift painted in layers of rust, orange, and brilliant white gypsum. It is a splash of color in a monochrome world. The heat here radiates off the red clay walls. It smells like sage and sun-baked earth. I recall the trek to the Lighthouse Rock. It is the icon of the park, a towering pillar of stone that has withstood the erosion of centuries. Standing at its base, looking out over the canyon floor, where Comanches once rode and bison once roamed, you feel the ghosts of the frontier. The colors here shift by the hour. At sunset, the canyon walls don't just reflect the light, they seem to glow from within, turning a deep, burning crimson. It is a reminder that in Texas, the most beautiful secrets are often hidden just below the surface. Keep moving west, past the oil fields, past the horizon, until you hit the very edge of the map. Franklin Mountains State Park. This is El Paso, and here, the wilderness doesn't sit on the outskirts. It slices right through the heart of the city. The Franklin Mountains are the spine of this borderland. These rocks are ancient, Precambrian, some of the oldest geology in the entire state. They have stood here for over 1 billion years, watching empires rise and fall. But the real magic happens when you climb. Stand at the overlook on Scenic Drive at twilight. To your left, the lights of Texas. To your right, the lights of Juarez, Mexico. There is no physical wall visible from up here. Just a seamless ocean of light sprawling across the valley floor. It is a powerful reminder that while lines are drawn on maps, the land itself is one. The air here is thin and dry. The sunsets are violent shades of purple and burnt orange. It is a place where two nations meet, guarded by mountains that feel eternal. Leave the harsh desert behind. Come to the green heart of the state. The Texas Hill Country and its lifeline. The Pedernales River. This feels like a different Texas entirely. The air is softer here, humid and sweet. The Pedernales is unique. It doesn't cut through mud. It flows over massive tables of solid limestone. The riverbed is like a sunken highway of rock, flanked by giant bald cypress trees, whose roots' knobby knees rise out of the water like ancient statues. It is a place of profound peace. It is no wonder that a president sought refuge here. This river flows right through the Texas White House, the LBJ Ranch. I walked the banks where Lyndon B. Johnson used to host world leaders. You can picture it, the weight of the Cold War on his shoulders. Dissolved, if only for a moment, by the sound of this water. In the summer, the river invites you in. The water is cool, a relief from the relentless sun. You wade through the shallows, the smooth rock slippery underfoot. It is the kind of place that forces you to slow down. To sit on the bank, watch the turtles slide off a log, and let the afternoon drift by. We head south now, into the humidity, into the sprawl. Welcome to Houston, but not the concrete jungle you expect. We're going to the artery that gave this city life. Buffalo Bayou. It creates one of the most striking contrasts in the entire state. Down here, on the water, you're surrounded by lush, tangled greenery. Turtles sunbathe on logs. Herons stalk the banks. It feels prehistoric. But look up, and you're staring directly into the chrome and glass face of a modern metropolis. This is where Houston began. The Allen brothers landed on these banks in 1836 and decided to build a city in a swamp. Walking the trails of Buffalo Bayou Park, the air hangs heavy and warm. It smells of damp earth and magnolias. I recall paddling a kayak here as the sun set. The city lights began to flicker on, reflecting in the slow-moving water. You realize that nature here hasn't been conquered. It has been embraced. It is a resilient waterway, rising and falling with the rains, washing the city clean. It is a reminder that even in the center of industry, the wild is never far away. Follow the bayou to the sea, and you arrive at a place of ghosts and grandeur. Galveston Island. This city is a survivor. Walking the streets here feels like stepping back into the Victorian era. You pass mansions like the Bishop's Palace, towering stone castles that speak of the immense wealth that once flowed through this port. But you cannot talk about Galveston without talking about the ocean. And the day the ocean took it back. The Great Storm of 1900 remains the deadliest natural disaster in American history. It wiped this island clean, but look at what stands today. The seawall, a massive 10-mile spine of concrete built to hold back the Gulf. Standing on top of it, with the salt spray hitting your face, and the cry of seagulls overhead, you feel the defiance of this place. It is a city that refused to drown. Today, it is a playground, historic, charming, and eternally married to the sea. Drive south, all the way south, until you hit the tropics. South Padre Island. This is the Texas you see on postcards. Separated from the mainland by the Laguna Madre. This narrow barrier island is a different world. The water here turns a brilliant aquamarine. The sand is soft and white. It was once wild ranch land, known only to the cattle and the Karankawa people. Now it is the state's premier escape. But look closer. Beyond the resorts, the wild still thrives. I remember visiting the Sea Turtle Rescue Center. Watching a rehabilitated Kemp's Ridley turtle slide back into the surf is a moment of pure magic. The vibe here is slow. You trade your boots for flip-flops. You watch the dolphins break the surface in the bay as the sun melts into the horizon. It is the end of the road and the beginning of paradise. Head back up the coast to a place the locals simply call Port A. Port Aransas. The adventure here begins before you even arrive. You drive your car onto the ferry, and as you cross the ship channel, keep your eyes on the water. It is almost guaranteed you will see the dorsal fins of dolphins racing the boat. This is a fishing town, through and through. The air smells of salt, bait, and fried shrimp. The pace is unapologetically lazy. Nobody is in a rush here. You rent a golf cart, drive it right onto the sand, and set up a chair. There is a gritty authenticity to Port Aransas. It isn't trying to be fancy. It is a place where you catch your own dinner in the morning and grill it on the beach at night. It feels like a secret handshake among Texans, a humble, happy hideaway on the edge of the Gulf. Just across the bay lies the anchor of the coast, Corpus Christi. They call it the sparkling city by the sea, and on a bright day, the water truly glitters. But the first thing you notice is the wind. It is constant here. It whips the flags, drives the sailboats, and makes this one of the best spots for kiteboarding in the world. Dominating the harbor is the Blue Ghost, the USS Lexington. This World War II aircraft carrier is a steel mountain floating in the water. Walking its flight deck, you feel the weight of history under your feet. But Corpus is also wild. It is known as America's birdiest city. I remember standing on the bayfront at dawn. The sheer number of pelicans, herons, and gulls is overwhelming. It is a city where the military might of the past meets the untamed nature of the coast. It is rugged, breezy, and alive. Now we travel inland to the spiritual heart of Texas, the Alamo. It is smaller than you expect, but its presence is colossal. Standing in the plaza, surrounded by the noise of downtown San Antonio, this old mission feels like a sanctuary of silence. The limestone is worn by time and bullet holes. This is the shrine of Texas liberty. You step inside, and the temperature drops. The stone walls hold the cool air. You are walking on the same ground where a few hundred defenders held out against thousands. Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, Travis. It isn't just a tourist trap. It is a graveyard and a battleground. To stand here is to feel the fierce, stubborn pride that defines this state. It is the place where Texas became a legend. Just a few miles south, following the river, you find a quieter kind of history. Mission Concepcion. While the Alamo is a fortress of war, this is a fortress of faith. It is the oldest unrestored stone church in America. Think about that. The stones you see were placed there by hands in the 1700s, and they haven't moved since. It feels ancient. If you look closely at the walls, You can still see faint traces of geometric patterns, colors that were painted centuries ago. I walked into the sanctuary on a quiet afternoon. The acoustics are perfect. A whisper travels across the room. The light filters in through the dome, illuminating the altar in a soft, dusty glow. It is a place of profound stillness, a direct link to the Spanish Empire that once ruled these plains. We drive north now, to the open Panhandle, to a place that makes no sense. And that is exactly the point. Cadillac Ranch. It rises out of the cow pastures of Amarillo like a mirage. 10 vintage Cadillacs, buried at the same angle as the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is art. It is vandalism. It is pure Americana. The cars are caked in inches of spray paint, layers upon layers of names, dates, and messages left by travelers from every corner of the globe. I remember grabbing a can of neon green paint. The smell of aerosol is thick in the air. You leave your mark on the fender, knowing that by tomorrow, someone else will paint over it. It is a living, breathing monument to the freedom of the open road. It is chaotic, colorful, and undeniably Texan. Head south to the capital, to the hills, the Pennybacker Bridge. In Austin, nature and the city are constantly flirting. And nowhere is that romance more beautiful than here. Most people drive over it, but the secret is to climb above it. There's a small trail up the limestone bluff. It is a short, dusty scramble. But when you reach the top, the view opens up. You see the Colorado River winding through the green hills. The water dark and cool. The bridge, known locally as the 360 Bridge, arches gracefully over it, not touching the water, preserving the natural flow. Sitting on that cliff ledge at sunset, watching the boats leave wakes in the water below, you understand why people fall in love with Austin. It is the perfect balance of rugged hill country and modern life. Drive north to Dallas. Look at the skyline. It has changed. The Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge. For decades, the Trinity River divided Dallas. Now, this bridge unites it.
Designed by the world-renowned architect Santiago Calatrava, it is a masterpiece of modern engineering. The central arch rises 400 feet into the air, a gleaming white needle threading the sky. I recall walking the pedestrian bridge alongside it at night. The city skyline glitters in the background. Reunion Tower, the Bank of America Plaza, all framed by the white cables of the bridge. It feels futuristic. It is a symbol of a city that is constantly reinventing itself, always reaching higher, always looking forward. And finally, just 30 miles west, we find the soul of the state, the Fort Worth Stockyards. Dallas is business, but Fort Worth is where the West begins. The streets here are paved with original brick. It's a cracker. The air smells of leather and livestock. This was the last major stop for drovers on the Chisholm Trail before they hit the Indian Territory. Twice a day, every day, they run the cattle drive. Watching a herd of Texas Longhorns lumber down East Exchange Avenue is like watching history walk past you. I sat on a wooden fence, watching the drovers in their dusters and hats. It isn't a show, it's a heritage. It is a place that refuses to forget where it came from. The boots are real, the history is real. Texas is a land of infinite horizons. It is the silence of the desert and the roar of the rodeo. It is the holy hush of an old mission and the neon chaos of a spray-painted car. It is a place that challenges you to dream bigger, to drive further, to look deeper. From the red dirt of the Panhandle to the blue water of the Gulf, this state leaves a mark on you that never quite fades. So, what are you waiting for? The road is open, and Texas is calling. If you enjoyed this journey through the Lone Star State, hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. And tell me in the comments which of these Texas wonders would be your first stop. Until next time, Bakil, keep exploring.